epic music begins. Cinematic images flash across the screen: Colosseum, Roman Forum, aqueducts, soldiers, emperors, chariots, gladiators. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it ruled the world for centuries. Today, we explore the rise and fall of the Roman Empire. 753 BC, deep in the heart of Italy, a small city-state named Rome was founded. Legend has it that the city was built by Romulus, who, after killing his twin brother Remus in a battle over who should rule, went on to establish Rome as a powerful kingdom. While historians debate the accuracy of these tales, one thing is certain: Rome's strategic location along the Tiber River made it a natural hub for trade and cultural exchange. This, coupled with the Romans' knack for diplomacy and military strategy, enabled them to grow from a modest settlement into a formidable force to be reckoned with. Over the next several centuries, Rome expanded its influence throughout Italy, absorbing neighboring city-states and forging strategic alliances. But it was during the Republic period, which began around 500 BC, that Rome's true trajectory toward empire began. Under the Republic, Rome's government was restructured into a complex system of elected officials and assemblies, creating a framework that would allow for greater participation and representation of the diverse group of people living within the Roman sphere. Yet, despite this seemingly progressive step, the reality of Roman governance during the Republic was far from inclusive. The vast majority of power was concentrated in the hands of an elite few, while the masses, including the newly conquered peoples, had limited say in how they were governed. Slaves were obviously not permitted to vote. In fact, they weren't even considered citizens. And while Italy technically wasn't a democracy, some of its citizens could vote. But if you were born outside of Italy, you were generally prohibited from voting, regardless of how much property you owned or how much tax you paid. As Rome grew in power, so did its need for resources and manpower. And it was the Republic's vast network of roads that facilitated the efficient movement of both goods and armies across the empire. The construction of these roads not only helped to connect distant provinces, but also fostered a sense of unity among the far-flung corners of Rome's growing dominion. Furthermore, the roads enabled the quick and easy transmission of information, ensuring that news and orders could be swiftly delivered from one end of the empire to the other. This efficiency was crucial for maintaining control over such a vast territory and for projecting Rome's military might wherever necessary. But the Roman road building wasn't just about brute force and practicality. It also served as a symbol of Rome's superiority and dominance. The straight, well-paved roads cut through conquered lands, serving as physical manifestations of Rome's reach and influence. These roads were often lined with milestones that proclaimed the distance to Rome, underscoring the centrality of the city and the empire as a whole. This visual reminder of Rome's omnipresence was a subtle yet effective way to maintain order and instill a sense of awe and submission among the diverse peoples under Roman rule. In addition to infrastructure projects like roads and aqueducts, the Romans also developed advanced architectural techniques and designs that allowed them to build impressive structures like the Pantheon and the Colosseum. The Pantheon, with its massive dome and oculus, showcased Rome's mastery of concrete and engineering, while the Colosseum, an architectural marvel, hosted gladiatorial combats and public spectacles that entertained the masses and affirmed Rome's power. Such achievements not only enhanced the functionality of public spaces, but also served as symbols of Rome's grandeur and cultural sophistication. Roman law, with its emphasis on justice and codified rules, played a significant role in shaping the empire's identity. The 12 Tables, Rome's earliest legal code, established a foundation of laws that applied equally to all citizens, promoting a sense of order and fairness. This commitment to legal principles contributed to the development of Roman jurisprudence, which had a lasting impact on Western legal systems. The Romans' systematic approach to lawmaking and their efforts to ensure equal treatment under the law were groundbreaking for their time and continue to influence legal systems around the world today. Furthermore, the Romans' contributions to language and literature had a profound impact on Western culture. Latin, the language of Rome, became a lingua franca, facilitating communication and cultural exchange throughout the empire. Works by Roman authors like Virgil and Ovid not only celebrated Roman values and history, but also explored universal themes that resonated with readers across time and cultures. The influence of Roman literature on Western art, philosophy, and culture is immeasurable, and its impact can be seen in everything from Dante's Divine Comedy to Shakespeare's plays. Now, let us fast forward to 27 BC when Rome was at the peak of its power under the rule of Augustus, the first emperor. The Pax Romana, a period of relative peace and stability, had descended upon the empire. Stretching from Britain in the north to Egypt in the south, Rome controlled the entire Mediterranean world. Its legions had conquered Gaul, Hispania and Germania, while its navy dominated the seas. At this point, the vast majority of Europeans had either been conquered by the Romans or were living under some form of Roman rule. And with the opening of new territories came the influx of new wealth, new ideas, and a flourishing of trade. Roman merchants were traveling as far away as India and China, bringing back exotic goods that fueled the appetites of the wealthy elite and common folk alike. The economy boomed, producing an unprecedented volume of coinage, while the arts and sciences saw a renaissance. Poets like Horace and Livy celebrated the glories of Rome, while architects designed temples and public buildings that rivaled anything the Greeks had produced in their heyday. Yet beneath this veneer of prosperity, cracks were beginning to show. The sprawling empire was becoming increasingly difficult to govern, and the wealth of Rome was built on the backs of an enslaved population. As the number of slaves grew, so did the resentment among the free population. And with the arrival of Christianity, a new set of values and beliefs emerged that challenged the authority of the traditional Roman polytheism. Meanwhile, outside the borders of Rome, Germanic tribes were growing restless under Roman rule, and it wouldn't be long before they launched a full-scale invasion of the empire. The decline of the Roman Empire is often attributed to a number of factors, and the truth is that there is no single event or individual that can be blamed for its demise. Rather, it was a combination of internal and external pressures that gradually eroded the foundations of Roman power. One of the significant reasons for the decline of Rome was the rampant corruption and political instability that plagued the late empire. As the empire grew, so did the number of people seeking power and influence in Rome. The constant struggle for supremacy among the various factions and individuals led to a decline in effective leadership and governance. The assassination of Julius Caesar in 44 BC marked a turning point in Roman politics, plunging the empire into a series of civil wars and power struggles that culminated in the rise of Augustus and the establishment of the imperial system. However, the instability didn't end there. Throughout the following centuries, the Julio-Claudian and Flavian dynasties faced numerous challenges, including palace intrigues, rebellions, and usurpations. The year of the four emperors in 69 AD, when four emperors held the title in a span of 18 months, epitomized the political turmoil that continued to plague Rome. This instability created a climate of uncertainty and made it difficult for Rome to address the growing challenges it faced. Another contributing factor to Rome's decline was its economic troubles. The vast size of the empire, while a source of wealth and power, also entailed enormous expenses for its maintenance. Defending the borders, administering the provinces, and providing for the needs of a sprawling populace required a substantial financial resources. Moreover, the cost of maintaining Rome's extensive infrastructure, including aqueducts, roads, and public buildings, placed a heavy burden on the imperial treasury. The economic strain was further exacerbated by the frequent military campaigns and the expansionist policies that continued to push Rome's borders ever outward. These factors combined to create a precarious financial situation that left Rome vulnerable to internal and external pressures. As Rome's internal problems grew, so did the threats from outside its borders. The empire's vast size made it a tempting target for invaders, and over the 3rd and 4th centuries, Rome faced a series of barbarian invasions that tested its strength. Germanic tribes such as the Goths and Vandals, driven by a combination of factors including pressure from other nomadic groups, climate change, and the lure of Roman wealth, began to cross the Danube and Rhine rivers in greater numbers, launching raids and incursions into Roman territory. The sack of Rome by the Visigoths in 410 AD, an event that shook the empire to its core, demonstrated the vulnerability of the once invincible Rome. The weakening of the empire's military defenses, coupled with the increasing frequency and severity of barbarian invasions, contributed to the growing sense of insecurity and instability that characterized late antique Rome. In 476 AD, the Germanic general Odoacer deposed Romulus Augustus, the last Western Roman emperor, officially ending the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire, however, continued to thrive for another 1,000 years. So there you have it, a whirlwind tour through the majestic rise and tumultuous fall of the Roman Empire. What did you think? How surprised were you by how quickly we flew through such an important period in history? If you're feeling like a Roman emperor sitting on the throne of knowledge, drop a comment below. Let us know what insights you gained from this journey through time. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Your thumbs up will ensure that we keep bringing you epic history stories that will make your brain feel as expansive as the Roman road network itself. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring. After all, the spirit of Rome reminds us that even amidst the ashes of empires, the flame of curiosity and learning can endure.